Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Darkest Hour. Tonight is episode 71, featuring IRONMACE's head of community, Graysun. Let's go say hi to the boys. Hello, gentlemen. How's it going? What up?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hello. We have Graysun on tonight. You're showing your face. We can hear your voice. The head of community will speak tonight. It's amazing. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Yep, no problem. Sounds been a long time. Podcast has been going for quite a while.
Yeah, 71 episodes. It has been going a long time,
man.
which is wild. When was the last time you were on a YouTube video or a stream?
Probably a playtest 4.
Jeez. Okay, so it's been a bit. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Just one of my best friends in real life streams all the time. So every time he plays, yeah, that's about it.
Fair. Mr. Griffia, good to see you as always, sir. Hello. Spuddy, good to see you. Falling on hard times for sure with that background. My goodness. You doing okay, buddy?
Yeah, the wait for the updates taking its toll on me. It's been some time.
Yeah.
People trying out new games in the meantime and just waiting for that juicy content update. You know how it is. Cycles.
I get it. I absolutely get it. Yeah, guys, this is an historical event on the Darkest Hour podcast, having the head of community on. Graysun, you are a guest that has been requested, I think, almost more than anyone else. If I look back in my mind, I'm pretty sure that people have been asking to see you on the podcast for a long ass time. So it's super cool to have you join us. And right off the bat, sir, if you could just give us an historical snapshot of your time at IRONMACE, like roughly when your journey there started, and like what you do there and how you got connected. Answer it however you can, but we'd love to hear your history.
Yeah, sure. So back when coronavirus hit, I was just working part-time, kind of waiting for everything to get back. Because actually in Korea, it was super locked down. You couldn't do anything. All the work was really, really messed up. I quit my full-time job just to basically work at some after-school program. I was just teaching English. And I only worked like 5 hours a day, so I was actually just like full-time streaming and playing Tarkov during that time. And when Playtest 1 first came out, I think if anyone plays Tarkov, they would know it was a really, really bad time in Tarkov. It was like 8 months into the wipe, super boring. There was nothing to play. And then Wimpeg threw up that video. And at that time, everyone was watching Wimpeg's videos for kind of Tarkov waiting for the wipe update stuff. And they were like, "Oh, check out this Dark and Darker game." And right when he posted that video, I saw it right away, and I downloaded it. At first, jumped in. I thought it was funny. Like I literally thought this is a funny game. I didn't really take it seriously. But yeah, I got my friends that I played Tarkov with to get on, and suddenly we're like, "Damn, this is super fun." So yeah, we grinded the leaderboards every playtest. Super fun. And I realized that at the very end of playtest 1, when I jumped on the Discord, they were in Korea and they were like 20 minutes away from me. So I was like, I'm gonna give them a call. It was really weird because everything on their website was in English. The Discord chatting was in English. I know Terrence was replying in Discord during like playtest 1. He was answering pretty much everything. So I messaged SDF on Discord DM, and he said come in for an interview, and that's how that happened. So I started working at the very end of playtest 2. Yeah, when I first got to IRONMACE, I was just doing community related stuff. Basically, me and one other person set up the Discord. And just for clarification, from now until the end of this, I'm not going to mention any specific names, just because I don't want to name drop anyone that I'm not supposed to or anything like that. So
Sure.
I will never even if you can see them on the Discord, I will not be saying any direct names.
All good.
Anyway, yeah, I built the Discord with another person, and I would say by playtest 4, the Discord was pretty stabilized and set up, and then yeah, I moved on from just straight community stuff, and then SDF started getting me involved in a bunch of random stuff, I guess. So I started helping him with balance a little bit, because at that time I was playing the game like at least 12 or 13 hours a day minimum. So I definitely had a really good idea what was going on in game. And then I eventually moved on to the design team, and now my main design role is I do all the quests for Dark and Darker.
Oh, okay.
Nice. So,
And I know they're not that good, but we're pretty limited.
They're all right. They're a little grindy, but they're not like terrible or anything. That was nice. I'm surprised. I thought you were there from like day one, so you came in pretty late, huh? Like a couple of the playtests, anyways. Nice.
Yep.
awesome. So, you're doing design work, you're building quests, you're helping with balance, and you're head of community. I feel like IRONMACE takes up a lot of your time, which is fine. You know,
Yeah,
if you love the job,
man,
you love the job. That's cool.
My whole life revolves around Dark and Darker. Even when I'm not in the office, yeah. If you did not like Dark and Darker or IRONMACE, you'd go crazy in my position, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Fine, since you made all the quests, I got one question.
Yep.
I just need to know, is the Spike Guardian even real?
No, not answering.
God damn it. Okay, that means it's real.
I knew it.
Right.
You know, Graysun, there's a long-standing rumor that you actually hate Jay Griffith. Why do you hate Jay?
Yeah, what's wrong, man? What happened?
What happened, dude?
You talk too much shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I will say though,
I got to.
No, you're pretty reasonable. There are a lot of shit talkers. I will say though, I'm not gonna lie, Spud, you are my favorite. I actually watch your videos all the time. You're super funny. That's all I gotta
get
say.
out of here. I thought I would have been a pain in the ass, because I think during that period, the RMT apocalypse in OCE, because like about a year ago, there was a really bad sort of 3 months where the server got targeted by groups doing nefarious activities of teaming and all sorts of issues. I was in Graysun's DMs like every day, just like, okay, here's 10 videos, here's all the DNA samples, you know what I mean? Like, here's all the evidence and all that kind of, just like
DNA
on like,
samples.
literally like just a pain in the ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like if you ever worked, say that you worked for like a council or the police, and there was someone just constantly ringing up going, yeah, there's a, you know, this noise complaint next door. It was me for like 3 months straight. So I'm surprised you said that, because I was actually a very stereotypical, like, frequent caller. But you guys, and including yourself, did a really good job of dealing with that. So I'm always grateful, because I like, there was certain games that, you know, in the similar genre like Cycle, where it got to a point where it was really hard to get things dealt with. So I always find it funny and annoying when, like, I read on the Reddit or the Discord, oh, the devs don't care. They don't, you know what I mean? All that kind of, it's a bit of a meme, because like you guys clearly do and you put in the effort. So yeah, likewise, man. I appreciate it. You're my favorite dev.
I know you complain a lot, but like the way you do it makes me laugh. So like, there's no problem. And Jay, we all know you're one of the OG best players. We all know that.
Oh, thank you.
So much love.
I'm
on the
terrible at the
podcast.
game.
No, I wouldn't say that. When it comes to your role as head of community, that's always the first thing I think of whenever I see the name Graysun online or something like that. This is more of like a inside baseball meta question when it comes to like work stuff and community stuff. But are there any studios or indie devs or giant companies in the gaming space that you have looked at in order to better inform yourself on how to manage the community, or are you taking any pages out of any books to do your thing as head of community, or are you kind of just flying by the seat of your pants and making it up as you go and just doing what feels right at the time?
So I was an admin for a server for quite a long time, and I was a guild leader for like 5 years of a pretty big guild. So honestly, when I built the Discord, I used my guild Discord as a reference. And then I used my server rules for how we would basically. So for the server, we had admins and stuff, and we had a huge rule list. I used that as a basis for the warden team at the very beginning. And then, but as far as like community manager stuff, no, I've really never paid attention to community managers or anything like that. I referenced a few Discords at the very beginning, like really major ones, just to see if everything on our page was lining up with theirs and everything looked good. I will say though, as it's gotten later on, I have had some one-on-ones with some very big community managers just to one of our partners actually offers that service for us to get some like guidance from really big people, fortunately.
That's
So
cool.
I have taken that chance on before and talked to one of them, but that's about it. Yeah.
That's actually great. I think it's always, it's not a bad idea to look at how the industry's doing it. It seems like you kind of like took a peek and then said, I'm just going to do my own thing, which is great because it's turned out well. I got to say, one of my, and maybe Spud and Jay will agree with me on this, but one of my fondest memories with this game is the hold the line era when we actually couldn't play the game. I know it's crazy to say, like, wow, well, your favorite part of this game's history is when you couldn't play. Well, actually, yes, the hype train was so fun. The hold the line era was fucking amazing. And you, in a way, were sort of at the center of that. How the fuck did that
Yeah.
feel? Was that like overwhelming? Did it feel cool? Was it annoying? Like, what were your thoughts during that hold the line era when the game was in question?
Well, I would say during that period for IRONMACE, everything was kind of like what's about to happen, kind of on the fence and a little bit worried. I will say though, yeah, it was cool and everything. I think my marketing background helped me with that a little bit. But yeah, that was super fun. I appreciate all the support we got during that time. I know that motivated the office a lot, and that was like, because in Korea we were kind of getting just spit on, but it felt really good to go in the Discord and see that, oh, like people actually support us, because when we go outside they do not. So no, that was super awesome. Yeah, I think we will always remember that forever at the office as a great time for like showing our community support. But no, that was awesome. I would say that was my favorite time too, just because the game wasn't live yet, so it wasn't nearly as hard to work at IRONMACE.
Right, of course. I
I thought the Spotify communication thing was absolutely genius. It was hilarious too, coming up with stuff like that.
I was just about to bring that up. You got to clear that up. Yeah, give us the lowdown on that.
So, man, SDF was all over me during that period. He was like, "Do not say anything. Do not touch your keyboard." And I was like, all right. I mean, I knew if we just didn't say anything, our game hype would die really quick, and then it would just even look more sus and whatever. So I kind of followed SDF's rules and found loopholes and how I could kind of get through them just to make sure. I was trying to do my best to make sure the game was gonna live as long as possible. But
it was just subconscious. You were listening to music that, tailored to the things that were on your mind. That's all. It was just a coincidence.
Yeah, I was just trying to follow SDF's guidelines while getting around them as much as I could just to help the community.
You're just a massive fan of Toto. That's all.
Yeah.
That's funny. Eventually SDF, he probably caught on. Is he happy that you sort of skirted around and found loopholes? I mean, he's a smart guy.
I would say every time I found a loophole, he eventually caught on and was like, stop.
Please.
Happy? I don't know. I mean, I don't think you could be mad about the outcome of how the Discord turned out during that period.
Sure. Oh, for sure.
So
I think you're having like tens of thousands of people typing that thing at the same time. It was what it felt like.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. It felt like one of the most active Discords in the world sometimes. So I would say
it was like a top 10 or something, wasn't it? on Discord's crazy.
He
big
should have
number.
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he can't be too mad at me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess it did sort of feel like the Discord was bursting at the seams sometimes. Like every time they would.
Oh no.
Oh please.
So dude, our Discord would literally DDoS itself.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
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 I remember in hindsight, I shouldn't have done when you were doing all that subliminal messaging just before it released via alternate methods to download. I remember being on stream with a whole bunch of viewers watching, like anticipation. Go, wait, that's not true. Is it coming out? Was all these like different rumors and stuff? And I remember like sort of shouting and talking like Maximus from Gladiator, like when they're in the arena with a group of dudes, another group of gladiators behind them, going, everybody, wait for it, hold, you all right, hold the line in 10 seconds. And then they got ready to run it, hold, go. And then they just spammed it. And I would see like people getting timed out one after the other or something, just automatically. I was like, wait, what am I doing? I'm sending them to their deaths. No. But yeah, in hindsight, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But you live and you learn. But it was good fun. It was just good fun energy to sort of have, you know. So
Yeah.
I think it's just a natural byproduct of the moment.
Dude, I rewatched Gladiator last night. I was bored and I hadn't seen it in years. God damn, it's a good movie. Jay, have you seen it?
Not in like 15 years, dude.
But you have.
I was waiting for.
He's seen
I
a
don't
movie,
remember
folks.
a single thing about it.
You should
Not
rewatch.
even one
You
quote.
haven't witnessed Massimo Decimo Meridio? What is wrong with you?
Are you not
No
entertained?
idea.
You can't remember that? Come on, you got to rewatch.
Oh yeah,
that
I
again.
remember that one.
There you go. Anyway,
Russell
you've seen Gladiator, right, Graysun?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. Okay, good.
Yes. What we do in this life echoes in eternity.
Yeah, you must have just rewatched
Strength
it
and
too.
courage, scotch and soda. Sorry.
So give us the lowdown on why you were already in Korea. Are you obviously you seem American or Canadian? Can you give us the lowdown on that if you're willing to share?
Yeah, I was born in Korea. I've been here. I've probably lived in Korea about 15 years at least now. I went to college in the U.S. My dad's American, so that's how that goes. But yeah, my dad has been here for like 30 years at this point.
Wow.
I don't think he's gonna ever leave.
And he was military, right?
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken,
Retired.
if I'm not mistaken, you went to high school on the base that I was stationed at.
So I did. Yeah, I went to school on base. I went to international school. So yeah, when my dad was retired, I couldn't go to any schools on base anymore. But
sure.
Yeah, I was on the same base as you at some point. Yep.
Can you say what years you were in high school on the base?
Whew, like 2009. I don't.
Dude,
like
you were
that.
in high school as a student on the same base as me while I was stationed there. That's crazy. We were neighbors. Wow, small world. That's nuts. So obviously there's a massive wipe coming in what's the date today? In like 3 days, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. You have been around for such a long time. You know IRONMACE like the back of your hand. You know the game like the back of your hand. Are there any announced systems that you are super excited about with Dark and Darker? Anything that you are really pumped with? Because obviously you've played the fuck out of this game. You've done it all. You've seen it all. You've experienced it all. What is exciting about Dark and Darker for you still, and what are you excited about that's coming soon?
I think there's a few good things coming this wipe. But I know as everyone's expecting, the arena is coming pretty soon. I think that is what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, you said that people keep
really
guessing
like
wrong.
Arena.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. Yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah, I really enjoyed Tarkov Arena. I hope we bring not that same exact setup or anything, but the same enjoyment I had.
Very nice. Yeah. So you said that a lot of people have guessed wrong with Arena. Has anyone guessed right yet, or do you think people are going to be surprised and delighted with IRONMACE's take on Arena?
Ooh. I think it's gonna be split. I really, really like it. When I first heard the idea, I was like, nah. And then when it sat on me for a day, I was like, wait, no, this is actually really, really good.
Based after you saw like what the direction was.
Well, no. I remember when I first heard the pitch for it, sing or not, I was just like, nah. But it makes a lot of sense when you sit down and think about it for a second. And then when you start playing it, I think, yeah, it's super fun.
Very nice. I know
Can
people
you
have
give us anything? And just a little drop even.
I can see like laser dots landing on his body right now.
they try to extract shit from me too, bro. So good luck.
Yeah, I'll let you know. It's super fun.
All right.
That's
We'll
good.
take that. That's a good
Well,
at
it's
least.
just it's always about the execution of things. Like things can sound really good or bad on paper, but if it's executed well, or in just that little slight bit of creative DNA sprinkled on it, that you know, just makes things work. There's so many things that shouldn't or couldn't work on paper because you go, oh, the world's had too much of this before. Why would they want it again? You know.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, not to mention other games, but like right now, like Deadlock's taking the world by storm. Like if on paper it's just another MOBA, but you know, it's a fun twist and take on the whole thing right now, you know. But back on brand, Dark and Darker. I was just using another game as example where it's like it's something that's been done already in a way, but you know, done a bit different and well.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fair to
I
bring
like
that
that that's
game up.
dark and darker too, on like extraction looters.
mhm.
Yeah.
Like a whole different angle on it, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. So I wanted to do a longer. We don't have to go into Q&A yet because we're only 20 minutes in. But I did want to do a longer Q&A today because you're here, Graysun. Is that cool with you if we do an extended Q&A and go really?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, awesome. So what do you actually main in Dark and Darker? Like, I know you used to do some streams back in the day. You're a pretty fucking good player too, which is cool. But these days, whenever you fire up Dark and Darker, what do you play?
Yeah, so I only play one class if I play a class. I hate like League of Legends type games where you kind of just jump around or whatever. I am totally not into that. I pick one class and I stay to it almost the whole wipe. I originally played Rogue for like almost every playtest except the fourth one. I think Rogue kind of fell off from what I expected it to be. So I moved on to Fighter. I had a really good time with Fighter. And then I basically only played Fighter for like every season until this season. This season was the first time I played Wizard. Very fun. I can't believe I didn't play it before. I think
Missing out,
I'll probably be seasons. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed Wizard. Fighter, just honestly, the melee, since Dark and Darker is kind of limited, the melee is just about like, movement tech, and that kind of gets boring. And I feel like the Wizard, there's just so many things to do. There's a lot of options. The skill ceiling's super high. But I will say these days, I think I played like total of 5 hours of games in the whole month of August. Like,
Well,
I played the Delta Force playtest for like 2 or 3 hours. I thought that was super fun. I played another Extraction playtest for about an hour, but yeah, the only time I played Dark and Darker was, at work during tests, so I'm not really counting that playtime. But as for gaming, I have literally not touched a computer outside of work in right now. Like, I'm just telling you, I'm tired right now.
What do you do in your free time? Do you touch grass?
Dude, I basically just sit in a corner and meditate until I go to sleep. Like, Jesus.
STF's
My
working
brain
hard.
is-
So that's why you always keep the meditate on wizard. You keep advocating for it. How you rest.
Yeah, man.
Um,
It's,
No, I
it's
mean
been a
the thing
hard
is,
month.
if you're really passionate about what you do, it kind of all encompasses you and engulfs you, and you go deep into it. You know what I mean? So it's probably like a blessing and a curse at the same time. You know, you just have to find that balance of work life when sometimes both of it is the same thing. You know, like you're basically explaining how your hobby became your full time thing. Probably something
Uh-huh.
Jay's experiencing right now as a content creator. It's like his game became his living, you know, like yourself. So you just have to find that balance where, yeah, like Soma said, you touch grass now and then. Was it you, Soma, or Jay? Someone said to touch grass, but yeah.
I am curious, as like, since you not only work on the game, you know, you do a lot of testing and stuff. Do you get ever burnt out on it? Just I've always
Yeah.
wanted to ask like someone who's like a dad.
That's
And
natural.
I wouldn't say I'm burnout on the game itself. Sometimes, man, I'm just like, for example, I did not like the bard getting added. I felt like that changed the game so much, and
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it took a it made me. It took a while for me to be like, okay, I'm getting
Buffalo.
into this again. And then the druid. The druid's super cool, but I hate getting pounced on as a panther 24/7. And
Oh, yeah.
there's so many druids in the dungeon. Yeah. So it's not really burnout on the game itself. Sometimes I get annoyed with new additions.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt the same
Eh,
way about Bard. I feel like once the Bard door opened, there was no going back. It was like a whole different game all of a sudden, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. When the bard came, it really, really changed the game a lot. Sometimes I wish we could have just went back and closed that and never opened it. But
Yeah,
it is
make it
what
a
it
cosmetic
is.
class. Really, literally just
Yeah.
play music.
Um, yeah, honestly, I'm used to games like Tarkov that only patch like once a year. So,
Yeah.
like, Tarkov has a pretty stable meta for like 9 months straight, and you get completely burnt out of it. But, Dark and Darker, the meta changes like once a month at least.
Almost
So,
weekly, depending on the patch.
yeah. So that takes a lot of time to get used to. And then, like, if you can't play 20 hours a day, I feel like sometimes it's kind of hard keeping track of. So I hope we can do a little bit better with that in the future.
Yeah, a lot of yo-yoing. I think it gives you a mental tax. You know, there's just so much to catch up on and follow along with, and you love this
Yeah.
certain build, and then the next batch is just like gutted, stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
would say, what do you think about balance right now? You think this is the most balanced the game's ever been?
I
it's
think
close.
I think at the very start of this, well, maybe like the first few weeks into the season was probably the best balance I've experienced. And I was only playing Wizard, and I heard Wizard was really bad during that time, but I thought the game felt really good. The only thing I didn't like was every time we got in a fight, we would get ganked by another team. It was like we would finally win, and another team would push us right away. Every fight. That
Every
got
time.
super annoying. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, the third parties are a bit of a. They just feel bad. I know it's part of the game, but it just feels bad. Finally
Well-
win, especially if you win on a team that's like way more geared than you. It's like you just conquered fucking giants, and then
Yeah, and then you have no spells and you get pushed, and it's like, okay, you guys 2v3, and I'm gonna run and sit down for a minute. Which I don't think meditate's the problem. I think you can meditate for like 10 seconds and you're good, but
oh yeah,
the constant geared teams just pushing you right when you get a kill, that I don't like that too much.
Maybe, do you think just like lowering the amount of players in a match would help? If there was just one less trio, do you think that would do anything? Farther out
Yeah.
spawns and one less trio? Because I think that'd help a lot.
I agree. Yeah, stuff like that.
I think it would help, but a change like that, I think you're like artificially emptying the lobbies, kinda. You know what I mean?
In
So
a way,
it's like
yeah.
a feels bad for the game change, but better for the.
See, the thing
game
is, one
played,
thing they could
probably.
do, I always thought was like, okay, they could make the paths in between the squads more dense, right? where it is a little bit more challenging to just rush towards
Sure.
action, right? But then people complain that everything's too dense. You know, it'd have to start feeling like, was it like the HR PVE on like Hell Dungeon, but like times two, and maybe more awkward. Like the paths are more narrow to certain modules. I'm not suggesting things. I'm just saying it's just like they could go along those ways, but then people will complain, things are too strict,
Yeah.
because you're playing against the 10%, top 10%, top 1%, right? Where most everything's been maximized, minimized rather, min maxed. You just got to remember, like the rest of the player base are probably like just struggling to deal with the bare basics half the time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Graysun knows that because they see the stats. The stats probably still suggest that every single person that joins this game still dies in the first module, opening a chest that turns into a mimic.
Yeah. I play games with my wife quite a bit, and I would say Dark and Darker is just something we've tried it several times, and it just like it's never gonna happen.
It didn't pass the wife test. Can't get your wife to
Yeah,
survive the first
it's
stream.
it's I would say Tarkov should be hard for my wife, but Dark and Darker is just something that it's just like we're good. I think
Well, I've always said to people, look, Tarkov has it's a game of knowledge, and there is a skill ceiling to it. But at the end of the day, you can come from Call of Duty and understand the same principles: gun in hand, point at head, click once, dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
it's got that universal principle. I can grab a ghillie suit, and I can find some rubbish like that in the map to hide amongst and go prone, and just wait for someone, like put on a podcast, listen to some alpha male, sigma male stuff where people are telling me that I'm an alpha, right? And I'm listening to it, and I'm getting told how much of an alpha male I am. And I listen to the
Yeah,
podcast,
but you can do that
and I
because the
fall
audio
asleep, and
doesn't
then
work.
I hear something walk past, and I just one tap it, and then I've won the game, right? Like people can play like that. In Dark and Darker, you can't. Like the closest thing to getting cheese kills was like when land mining on doors was a prevalent and big thing, So I don't know. You can't, like, you guys can still appeal to a broader audience, but find that middle ground where you haven't done the game down completely. But you find that middle ground, that balance, which is always, that's a very difficult thing. I'll use Deadlock again as an example of a game that's like it's a flavor of the month right now with the open test, but I still think it'll sustain a player base because it has that team MOBA thing. Like you could be the weakest link in the chain and be getting farmed a lot, but maybe you can get carried by a bunch of people in your other team of your team, and then you can join them when the lanes start crossing over, if that makes sense. So it has that element of like you can still sort of have fun even when you're average at the game, but you're getting other people carrying you. Like team games can be like that. In Darker Darker, it's a team game, but if you've got a buff ball that's like got esports jerseys on and playing on Discord Pro, you will know exactly within 10 seconds when it's over, and then you've lost all that time and effort and you're back to lobby, so it's kind of like, yeah, I just say, like, I don't know how the game can pass the wife test. Have you studied her with a team of scientists?
no, but yeah, I think if it passed the wife test, we're gonna be really good. I think that's a pretty
Can I
internal
ask,
goal. Yep.
what was the what were the problems with the wife test, if that's what we're calling it?
Yeah, I would say like first it's really really hard to carry with certain classes, I think.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
I see some warlocks 1v3 and stuff, they just can kite all day. I don't play. I know wizard maybe can carry, but with one spell will, even on overload, I mean that's not really 3 kills.
Mm-mm.
And
No.
and then so the PvE is no problem. I can literally teach her the PvE, watch a YouTube video. This is how you do this. But there's really no time to practice that when you have a team pushing you in 30 seconds. So there's really no downtime for me to like get in game with her and explain like this is how we do things. I have her on cleric. And we get stomped right away. Like, it's so funny.
Put her on Barb.
Yeah, I try my hey, Barb is super easy, just left click. But yeah, it's like, and she's never played any kind of melee based game before, so like it's super hard at the very beginning for her, and I think it's not worth the time investment right now.
Sure.
Hey, at least she's willing to try games with you. That's awesome. That's a huge win. So congrats there.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's awesome.
Well, we get it, bro. You're married and people love you and stuff. We get it.
You disappointed some people in chat when you said you were married, Graysun, just so you know.
I mean, dude, I was a huge game addict. I'm telling you, if you didn't play games with me, we weren't doing anything for quite a while. So that's how that happened.
Okay.
Fair. Dude, what do you think about multi-classing? I think it's obviously originally people were kind of excited about it, kind of split on it. The first week of it, I thought was fucking awesome. The longer it went, the more I hated it. I am in camp hate when it comes to multi-class. I don't think it's good for the game. And even this end of wipe event, it split people so much. But some people really enjoy it. Some people love experimenting with the builds and the chaos that it brings to PvP especially. But what are your thoughts on multi-classing?
I would say it kind of reminds me of like a little side League of Legends mode. You know, they put out little fun modes every few months.
Fire.
I think it's nothing anyone should take serious, and it's just kind of one of those little fun game modes to have fun with. But as far as serious gameplay, no way, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like a little cute little arcade mode to have fun with, to be honest. But that's about as far as I would take it.
Yeah, I agree. I think if it rears its head again in the future, it's really gonna piss people off. But that's up to the development team.
They need to do an event queue. Simple as that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know I don't want them to add another queue to the game as an OCE player.
But for the final week, though, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, because like obviously it's clear that a lot of, including myself, a lot of players don't like it. You know, where it's like you for a solid week, the game is now. Imagine,
shit
right?
show.
Here's a perfect example. You're a Counter-Strike nerd, right? You're a Counter-Strike nerd. You love the attack and defense, the bomb defusal mode, right? The standard mode, the competitive mode. But out of nowhere, Valve goes, you know what? Fuck it. You're forced to play surf mode only for a week. Surf's fun, but pretty sure not everyone loves surf mode. They come for the juice, the regular mode
for gun game.
That's yeah, yeah.
That's what I play
what I
for.
mean? So like, it's one of those things where, you know, what's the main dish?
Yeah. Speaking of main dish,
I think it was fine. I think just a little heads up would have at least like prepped people and. You know, and so, dropping it out of nowhere at the end of the week, I think is like a big shock. But if you're like, hey, in 2 weeks we're dropping multi-class for a pre-wipe, people are like, okay, now we can expect to like actually run our gear sooner and stuff. And
yeah,
you know that some guy's got 9 artifacts chilling, he's just waiting to run it, and then boom, he's probably not playing anymore.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Is just player messaging. I feel like sometimes IRONMACE really crushes it and messages things super well, especially during the playtest, sharing data and whatnot. Obviously, with the Nexon thing, sharing data is a little weird. Can't really do that. We have to wait for that case to settle for true transparency to happen again. But then other times, IRONMACE really just kind of surprises people, and suddenly something is in the game, something like that. Graysun, do you think there's a world where we see player messaging and whatnot improving and actually being sticky and not just sort of something that happens here and there?
Yeah, I think the big problem is we need, you know, everything is super busy at IRONMACE. Like, especially the last month, it has been like Whew, it's been super, super tiring.
Yes.
I've been home every day and I feel like, damn, I am like blown. But I would say we just need to stabilize more and then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
When everything is more manageable, we'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of exciting stuff coming. Everyone at the company has definitely been humping and getting ready for a couple of cool things.
Yeah.
What?
I would say out of
Humping?
all my
Humping
patches at IRONMACE, this last month has been the hardest patch I've ever worked on.
Really? Okay.
Chat's hilarious.
This is a dumb question. Do you actually do dev stuff like coding and shit?
So I'm on the design team. Technically, I'm not a programmer. I just design stuff.
Gotcha.
The fancy way of saying the ideas, man.
Yeah, creative side.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, we have to actually put our ideas in the game. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of ideas, multi-class, we just touched on it. It was something that SDF wanted to test out as a progression system, as sort of a loop, an experimentation loop, and just character progression path in general. Obviously, it didn't go very well. People, for the most part, think it's bad for the game. And a lot of folks, myself included, have been talking about subclassing, because some semblance of a character progression treadmill that's much deeper than just I get to level 15 and unlock my 4th perk. It's needed for a game like this, right? What do you agree that something like subclassing would be good, or if not, what do you think would be a really great addition to the game in terms of character progression and to hook people in longer than just I got to level 15, I want to master this class, but rather, wow, I can build out very specific cool builds with certain talents or subclasses or whatever with a certain class. What do you think would be a good addition to the game, if not subclassing something else or whatever? What do you think?
Personally, after seeing multi-class, I think that was completely unmanageable, especially if people want any kind of balance. I know we already struggle with balance a little bit, but multi-classing just throws that out the window a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I really like. So I think our level system is pretty lacking. The 1 to 15 takes like not three games, but like I would say you can get it in like 6-7 hours. Probably people can get it faster.
Oh yeah, faster.
I think we could really utilize our leveling way more than it is, and maybe use that as a way to slowly upgrade skills with a cap. But 1 to 15 being where it unlocks everything right now, I think is way too minimum. And there's really no reason. That's why I think people can jump around to any class. It's the flavor of the week, is because it's so easy to max a class. You can do it in less than a day. I think that's one of the issues I personally don't like. I think SDF has a different opinion, but I would like to utilize the leveling system a lot more than it is. But as far as completely like subclasses and stuff, I think that's getting a little bit dangerous. I'm not a fan anymore of that. Yeah, but that's just my take on it.
Interesting.
So what would you are you saying, like, just make the perks take longer to unlock type of deal?
Or I think as you level up to a cap, slowly you can upgrade the perks or something.
Okay.
But being able to completely grab different perks and stuff, unless we made those specifically and they're not existing and we have them made it with balance in mind of that happening, I don't think what we have right now goes well with that kind of system.
The struggle is with the way the game's made right now. Like let's say I make a new class right now. It's a bitch to like deal with all these people that have all their perks. And all you're doing is this, it makes the start, like if you again, it's all about the execution, but if it just simply is drawn out more, right, and not got too much nuance to it, you will get scenarios where the start game is the only thing that people appreciate, because for that first 2 weeks you have people that are slowly getting their perks, but after the first 2 weeks everyone's got all their perks. It's the same kind of issue again, where it's like that first 6 hour period as hell has been turned into 2 hours. See, like the first 6 hours of every single time you start a new character kind of sucks ass because you're going through that rudimentary process of like, well, I know the perks I want. I just got to just grind for 6 hours to get the 4 perks. So when I fight that one guy who spawns next to me, I have the same edge as him just on perks, let alone his gear. Like if you're in gear score
Right.
brackets now, you got you because you're dealing with people with better gear than you, then the perks. And the perks are
Mhm.
so I look at Wizard. Imagine you only had one perk. You don't have overload. You don't have knowledge, spellcasting perks, that stuff. That literally changes the character from
Yep.
being useless to slightly less useless. He's
Yeah,
much better now.
I think it's also important to I don't want people to think that multi-classing and subclassing are super similar because they're actually quite different. You say that you're apprehensive of subclassing, but multi-classing, you actually lose your class identity and you just try to make the ultimate meta build where you can never die and you do like tons of magic damage with each arrow as you're also able to use the crush perk and break down doors. It just after a while, shit just gets too muddy and too crazy with multi-classing. Subclassing is actually much different. It actually allows you to choose a character class and sort of morph it to how you want it to play. I think it's much different than multi-classing in that instead of borrowing from other classes and losing your class identity, you actually enrich your class identity. So, for instance, like a necromancy subclass for wizard. Imagine being able to raise the dead and have like a little army of skeletons similar to like a druid treant, and getting access to like a bone spear or something like that. Or if you're playing fighter and you go down like a champion subclass, now you're specializing in two-handed weapons and your class actually improves. Oh, I think we lost Buddy. Your class actually improves around the use of using two-hand weapons instead of, oh, I'm just going to take this perk and this. I'm going to take tough and I'm going to take poison weapon and I'm going to take smite because I know that it demolishes folks. And now suddenly I have this weird man, bear, pig hybrid class. I think subclassing is much, much different than multi-classing, and I just wanted to bring that up because a few folks in chat thought it might be a good idea to specify what that actually is. I think something like that is the kind of progression path players probably need to stick around to actually retain players for a long time, to put hundreds of hours as opposed to dozens into a certain class, just a single class. I think something like subclassing would actually be amazing. That's the way I kind of look at it.
So yeah, basically you mean it's just dedicated systems like subclass systems for specific classes. Yeah, that I think we could totally balance. But yeah, just like the multi-class thing where you're just grabbing and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I mean, imagine you get every class has two subclasses. Think of it like specs and WoW. You know, like you pick a talent tree. Am I going to be Frost or Unholy or Blood as a Death Knight? Yeah. Do the same thing with Dark and Darker, and now you have. And obviously, that takes dev time. You got to add in a perk or a active skill that you get to unlock at the bottom of that tree or something, right? You gotta develop new stuff. But wouldn't it be great if, as a fighter, I could pick a subclass and I could be like a full plate guy that specializes in two-handers or something like that? Like I think people would like that. Or if I want to be the necromancer as a wizard, I think people would love to specialize in that kind of stuff. And I think a subclassing type system is exactly what the game needs, and not something like multi-class.
I also think that might force the whole like you have to pick a direction with gear, you know, instead of just being super tanky, super fast, and super healthy, right? And super damage. It'll force you to a little bit, you know. If you want to be a tank, you're picking tank perks, and if you want to do damage, you're not so tanky.
What if there's like a generalist skill tree that everyone had access to? Like if you don't want to spend a point in your subclass in the necromancy tree, what if there's a general tree where it's like more health, more movement speed, or whatever it is, and you actually have to make those choices. More luck, more, you know, like better magic, innate magic resist, or something like that. I don't know. Now we're cooking a little too much. Now we're getting into the weeds with it, but I don't know. I think any system is going to have holes in it. I think the potential system with the least amount of holes that leads to the most amount of fun and the most amount of player retention for the longest is subclassing. But maybe folks would disagree with that. But yeah.
Convincing argument. Sorry, just trying to hype you up.
Thank you.
I I see both sides of the fence. I kind of, for me, as someone like, like probably Jay sees the lines in the matrix, the zeros and ones, the code when you play a PvP game enough and a lot of other PvP games, you see what makes it tick. Like Jay mentioned before, just chucking all your stats on damage and speed, you know, is pretty much the go-to for the game right now. Like that's your focus on everything. It's worst case, if nothing, just speed, because as long as you don't get hit, you're hitting and then you're kiting and you're in and out, in and out, in and out. Anyway, before people start saying I'm yapping, you set up and then you do a payoff, all right, with what you're talking about. I essentially... I've always said, I know this is not talking about the classing, but now back on the gear, I still feel like saving the devs headaches of trying to work out how to balance things, because the more zeros and ones you add to the lines of code in the matrix, the harder it becomes to balance, right? Essentially, I still think they should focus on, you have a baseline for PvP on everything, which seems to be what Terrence wants, and SDF wants the latter, right? More chaos. You have a baseline for PvP, same with like all your perks and all that kind of stuff, and then everything, all the additional stuff is to dealing with PvE, you know? So you say you made the Hell Dungeon even more dense, more insane, with random spawns, right? Not just the same chess pieces that you just go through by the numbers, like, oh, that's where the sub boss is, delete him, or that's where it becomes routine, clinical. You have more variance with the creatures, and they're more difficult. And a gear like the silver weapons have, bonuses for undead. Like that stuff's cool. But the thing is, you never go, oh, bro, I'm about to go on the crypts, I really need that silver gear. There needs to be that in the game. There needs to be a reason you go, I need that 20% extra damage on undead on several items. There just isn't. There's too many superfluous things in the game where it's like role playing as a role play game. It's like, oh, that looks like something you'd see in Diablo or something. Does that make sense? I know I'm being harsh on SDF, but there's too much wastage on shit like that, because they're just messing around. The waters are very muddied a bit. So I would say that I'm always worried when people talk about subclassing or stuff like that, because it just seems like more of the same muddied waters. I'd like a more methodical approach where you have a baseline with everything. Then people aren't bitching about balancing. People aren't yo-yoing all the devs aren't yo-yoing. Like 1 minute it's Bard, next minute it's the Rogue that's meta. You know what I mean? Like that's been I love the game, but I stop getting emotionally attached to this process, because that's how I perceive things. That's like the golden path in June. It's the way to success. But yeah, I don't know. I think Soma went deep on his philosophy. That's my deep dive in my philosophy. Jay, what do you think? What do you think the golden path is?
Jay's up.
So Graysun said his thoughts as well. What do you reckon, Jay? I'm throwing you
I
under
think
the
the
bus.
game's got a good baseline, personally.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think anything's
more,
like super ridiculous anymore.
It has gotten better. It has. I meant more like like disparity with like if we'd elongated like getting the perks and stuff to many weeks, I think there'd be problems with that, just because of how important the perks are. Like I said with Wizard,
Sure.
You kind of cooked without overload and spellcasting perks. So what do you do for 2-3 weeks when you make a Wizard? You're in a subgenre
Hide
in
in the
Pornhub,
corner, bro,
getting
and you
spit
hope
roasted.
no one finds you.
Yeah. So it's just
With their fireballs in hand, dude,
yeah.
All right, so we are getting close to an hour. So I want to open it up to Q&A and just do Q&A a little longer, start a little earlier than normal, because it is a treat to have Graysun on. I'm sure people have questions, either for us or him or all of us. So please, folks, go ahead and drop your questions in chat. Either
We gotta ask the golden one. If you had a dream patch, Graysun, you could do anything with the game in a patch, what would you do?
That's a very good question. And, you know, I
We know
think
number
I
one's
would,
remove Bard. Sorry.
yeah, I, I think I would remove Bard and Druid right away. Not because those classes aren't necessary, just I didn't personally like what they brought. Remove those right away. I would probably buff the unique weapons drop rate probably by like 15% at least. I think they're way too expensive right now, and some people don't even know they exist. I think I would make it where you can't, like, keys should not be like 20,000 gold. I think that's ridiculous.
Agreed.
I think the economy right now for the game is really weird. You have and I noticed that some items are super rare, but they're not that rare. I don't know what's causing stuff to be so expensive, but it's a little bit sus.
I think it's
Um,
RMT, personally.
yeah, me too. I think we should definitely, or I, in my dream patch, would fix that problem of people should not have 20,000 million gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not a problem of like, oh, they've been farming that. It's just like they get one item and for some reason they can sell it for 100,000 gold. I remember, it's funny, I got the first life after death in the world. And when I put it on trade for 4,000 gold, people were laughing. They were like, hell no, dude. Yeah, but now it's like 4,000 gold for a life after death would be insane. I really don't like the economy, so I will do a lot of economy work.
Mm.
But I think that's all I'm gonna say. Like, that's a really good question, and I just wasn't prepared for it, to be honest.
Sure.
Um,
I completely agree about that economy. It feels bad. One, you're gating content. Like, you can't run golden keys, and you definitely can't run skull keys because you're just burning money. But
Yeah.
it also just sucks. Like, you have to spend so much gold to make a viable, like, high-end set. Well, I'm a cheap fuck, so like my sets are about 3 to 4K, and it kills me inside to spend that much on one set of gear.
Yeah.
Because like in the playtest, you get by with like 1,000 golden kit, and it would be actually decent and stuff. But I do think it's a bit of a turn off possibly for some people. But I mean, you have normals and stuff. What do you think about gear and gear scoring in the game?
So when I first saw the gear score system, especially the sub 25 stuff like that, I thought it was a weird idea and it was gonna kind of break normals. But actually, I think it's pretty good. I think it worked out pretty well. As far as
Is
the high roller gear score stuff, I think there should be no in high roller. All what you're looting is good, so it's kind
Yeah.
of weird to bracket that off by putting people in different gear scores. I think high roller should just be high roller, and everything is fair game.
what do you think
Okay.
about the end game of Dark and Darker and High Roller in general? Anyway, like I've never liked High Roller since the beginning of this podcast. Like episode 1, I've never liked HR, or that is the end game of Dark and Darker. What are your thoughts?
I will say I think it's way too easy to get to the end game. Like it feels like you grind 24 hours on day 1 and you are already in game. I think
Yeah.
I used to speed run the Tarkov quest. That I was super into getting Kappa as fast as possible. And dude, it would take me like not working like 2 weeks straight of already planned and practiced on several accounts before the season started. I have Excel sheets of how I planned on how I wanted to do everything. And it would
Holy
take me
crap.
2 weeks of not sleeping to get Kappa and stuff sometimes. Dude, if you did that in Dark and Darker, you would have like 20 million gold.
Yeah.
I think it's way too easy to get to end game. It lasts a day.
maybe the end game
So-
in their head is the grindy quests, because some of those you're not going to finish the quest lines in 24 hours, are you?
Well, I
What,
made all
that
the
quest?
He
Just
quests.
say
makes
maybe
the
that's what
quests.
Yeah, I know, but like in their heads, like maybe I'm not speaking for us here, but maybe in his head, that's what Kappa is. It's like finishing those quest lines and getting the emotes. Because some of those quest lines, there's a lot of RNG. Like you can kill 100 Yetis and still not get the fabled tooth.
Yeah, luck
Yeah.
pot, bro.
Yeah. but some people don't know that.
Yeah, you do.
Um,
I would say in one session you're already like wearing high-end gear,
Yeah.
farming bosses and stuff. Literally wipe
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, the gear takes a
later
while to
on,
spread out in Tarkov.
I would like the quest to have more an impact on your late game. I think right now the quests are very optional and they don't really have an impact at all as far as connecting to how well you're doing.
It's really forgetting the cosmetics now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
A little
100%.
bit on better vendors, but yeah, it's really cosmetics is what it comes down to.
Mhm.
But like you're already by the time you get there, that's the thing. That's the problem with it is when like the value of getting those better vendors is by the time you get
It's
the better
watered down.
vendors where you can get where you can get the green health pots and stuff, you were already buying them cheap on the market.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like,
Well. Well. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
When you say quests have an impact, like what do you see with that? If you could give it a take on that one.
So yeah, as far as just getting the cosmetics, there's really no reason to ever even complete all the quests in Dark and Darker. I think so. I really like the gated, week 1, week 2 system because but the problem is, so with the gated system for the quest, it lets people finish all the quest in time for the next week. If you're playing decent amount. But there's really no reason for the gated problem because the quests don't really give you anything other. I mean, I guess you get the golden chest for and then the stash, but actually, honestly,
That's
the people
good, though.
getting that, the people getting those things, I think they already have them anyway. So I would like basically the quest to go more in sync with character progression. I haven't really sat down and exactly thought of how that would be implemented well yet.
Sure.
But I think there's really no reason, and I think we need to make a better reason. So, like you said, the vendors upgrade with you, but actually that doesn't really matter right now with how the game is set up.
Yeah.
Oh, but I will say the Squire stuff, but yeah, like the people getting the Squire stuff, or the people that need the Squire stuff, they don't, or sorry, I'm gonna go. The people that have the upgraded Squire stuff don't need it. Anyway,
Yeah, they're
so
probably not using it anyways, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You like I said with like the green pots in the alchemist, it's like you immediately supersede it where it's like you're just getting it off the market anyway.
Yeah.
That by the time I was getting like, all right, here's an example. As an experienced player who has no issue playing high roller and geared lobbies because I understand the dynamics and I build my characters for it and grind and etc. When I feel like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna before you could, well, actually, you still can in normals. When you can, like, I like now and then, like seriously, Soapy, that streamer, I'll like doing some 1v3s or 1v2s, right? I feel confident and I'll go do it in normals under 24 gear score, all right? But in under 24, you can buy a couple white items to give you that extra knowledge point or whatever as your wizard, and it goes a long way, right? I was already just buying them the items off the marketplace. So just filter to common and all right, Oracle robe, bubba quick, grab
Yeah,
that,
again,
the boots, the
tax,
gloves.
bro.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I know. And you're grinding for that, like, okay, now I don't have to spend 150 gold. But by the time you're doing that and you're just doing it for fun, you have so much gold, it's just a small tax. You know what I mean? It's like having a coffee in the morning. Yeah, it costs money, right? At the cafe instead of just making it for yourself at home. You know what I mean? Like you become a yuppie in the game. You've got enough money to be, fuck it. Instead of making a coffee at home, I'll buy on the way to work at the cafe, with a biscuit. That's how I see it. You know what I mean? You already get to that point real quickly where you've got expendable money. So all these things you grind for to be like, oh, that's what I'm grinding for, blah, blah, blah. You have it by the time you unlock it, everything is expendable. You've already got everything you need and the money to just do it the expensive way anyway. So just convenience. I guess I'm just reiterating what everyone said.
I quite like the quest. The part that kills me is the crafted gear. I feel like the crafted gear, the power spike like 5x's, and then it just gets so out of control. I don't know. I much prefer everything being a little restricted in the first month or first weeks even of the wipe, personally.
Yeah, the first half of the
more
wipe's
fun.
the best. Yeah. Agreed.
You get a purple item with good rolls and you're actually hyped for it.
Yeah.
And then a month later, it's like, oh, another one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got a question from chat from Zplor. Can you please confirm that the wipe is September 6th? Has the date or time changed? It's been mentioned on the Q&A, but they put wipe timer in the past on leaderboard, but it's not there at the moment.
I don't think they.
Yeah, you just wait for the Discord announcement.
There you go.
No, the leaderboard announcement's always been this season of like
Yeah.
the rank.
There you
Always,
go.
it's
Zplor.
never been any different. So just to, I guess I'm speaking on their behalf now. From my experience as a gamer streamer, you like the season ends, and then it's always been a week or two, sometimes 3 weeks after the season end that they've done their wipe. You know, whatever the time permits for them, instead of rushing it. So, but yeah,
But the real thing is, yeah, wait for Discord.
yeah.
Yep.
What do you think of the leaderboards, Graysun?
I will say, you know, the playtest leaderboards, I think they were really good for like that 1 week thing, because it was just a
Loved
super
it.
grind. It was a grind based leaderboard. And I don't think those work with like a 3-month scale. So I would personally like the
True.
leaderboards cut out into like 2-week seasons or something, with kind of how they were set up before. But the current leaderboard iteration is I don't like it at all. It's not fun. I don't think it hypes anyone up. There's no one like, oh, let's just grind for 2 weeks and get number one. But dude,
Yeah.
I remember the first playtest leaderboards. I would literally not go to sleep for like, I would go 48 hours sometimes, especially the last days. But I was super hyped. But right now it's just kind of like they don't really mean much at all to me.
It was more of
And
a battle royale back then, though. Like it was a kill race on like in a BR mode. Like I remember, like just
Yeah,
all
but it
the
was
early
hype as
adopters.
hell.
Yeah, I know, but it's a different game now. So it's like, well, you'd have to like that to get that hype back. You'd have
I
to
think
strip
it's like
back
the
the game.
same,
Wouldn't you?
honestly.
You reckon?
I think it's the same personally. It's just like
Well-
there's just such a rush, you know. There's such a rush, and you want to minimize downtime. You take a loss, it's like actually a big deal.
Wait, you said it's the same.
Yeah.
Right.
If they put kill leaderboards back on, you're just gonna spawn rush
Oh,
instantly in 5
okay.
seconds. Yeah.
Well, do you want that back? I'm confused because you said like
I
you
want
still
it
get
back,
the same
but
rush.
I want it back, but I don't think it's good for the game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's also just in high roller.
But that's what
So
you were
it's-
complaining. Weren't you complaining about like the same patterns where people? I'm not having a go at you. I'm not like grilling you now.
Oh,
Like,
I don't-
1 second,
go for
Grayson.
it.
I've got to grill Jay. But like, weren't you complaining about like I remember one of the previous podcasts where it was like one of your outside of like the rodent stream sniper rogues that come in and hoover up all your gear off of your kills, right?
Yeah, but now I'm gonna
issue was like
run
the
them
min max
fucking down.
paths. So like, yeah, I know they got that down better with like the loot time changes and everything, but like the min max paths, people rushing to you. Like, you know, if you spawn here, well, this is going to be a squad coming this min max path now immediately
Yeah,
on the
that's
dot.
annoying. That's like a little
that happened in
stale
that-
and stuff.
But that's what happens
But-
with that previous like,
I think
rush.
that's just because there's only 2 map variants, personally.
yeah.
Like that's an issue of like it being just everything's so memorable, and not only that, but like half of the Crips maps is basically unplayed, right?
Yeah.
So stuff like that, but no, I think that everyone running the same pass and stuff is just what's gonna happen. We essentially just have one map. I mean, 2 layouts, 1 map, really. And you just know where everyone's gonna be, you know all the hot spots. Everybody knows that we're on the same page now. But I mean, that's how it was in the playtest, even. It's just there's a lot more noobs that filled it in, you know, filled the lobbies. So you'd have to go out of your way to hunt them down a little bit. But now it would just be a straight up war. I actually don't think high roller gameplay would change if there's kill leaderboards right now. I think it would stay more or less the same. Just a little more rushy. And maybe less third partying because people want those kills. Or maybe more third partying, actually.
I was going to say more.
Wait for you to kill the they wouldn't wait for you to kill the team. They would fly in mid fight
To
and
try to
and
get
the
all
last
of it.
hits and stuff.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Hungry hippo shit. Yeah. How many marbles can you get? Yeah.
So that's how it was, bro. I'd see some people fighting. I'm like, that guy's low. Let me finish him off. You know, 'cause I need that +1.
Yeah.
The quick question from me, and then I guess Sam is probably going to put it into Q&A. The Graysun, the 3-tier system, it's a bit of a tough question because it's like you're not obviously you can't. I don't know how much at liberty you are to say and delve into like what's coming up, but are they are you guys trying to experiment more with the tier 3 system of like maps, you know, like Diablo style where you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper? Like are we likely to see some big shifts in the game where that comes in more like across all the maps? Cuz like I remember in one of the previous Q&As, Goblin map, they seem to be sticking to like just having the Goblin caves just have one tier at the moment. Like is that going to change anytime soon?
Well, as far as much as I can say, I will say maybe if this 3-tier system becomes huge, everyone really loves it. I don't see why we wouldn't push that as far as we can.
Yeah.
I personally, I really like. I think I don't like the really fast games right now. It feels like just get your kills, get your bags full, and get out. I really hope the 3-tier system kind of brings the games to a longer and more like enjoyable, not just a rush. But I know some people are like, oh, they just want their kills and they just want to get out. I like the PvE. I like killing the bosses. And with the ruins coming, there'll be more bosses to kill. So I think the 3-floor system could be really, really good for the game. When they first talked about it, I said that will take Dark and Dark to the next level if we do it right.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think people appreciate having like a long run, you know. Like we're talking 3 layers, we're talking a 40-minute game all of a sudden compared to you go queue some arena caves, it's like 8 minutes in and out. Yeah. I think there's a lot more I think a fuckload of loot. Honestly. Which would be nice.
All right, chat. What do you got? Let's see here. What do we got? Does from Harley Davidson, does each layer bring us all new queues of players, or is it only the people from the previous layer? So I think STF recently touched on this, but he's asking, is there a new batch of players being added with matchmaking between floors?
No. I don't want to talk about that too much, but
all right.
Yeah, right now no. Right now no, but I'm not saying that's not coming or anything.
All right.
Sure.
Fair response.
So
Fair
you're saying it is coming. Honestly. Just
get my
not
squirt bottle. Barley bruh, are we ever actually going to get any Crips variants back? I think people fucking loved that blue Crips stuff so much and they can't get out of their heads.
What happened to the Coliseum, bro? It was so good.
Coliseum was great. Yeah, Coliseum as well. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry. I was thinking
layouts.
I was thinking he's talking about layouts, not variants. Yeah, so layouts. Coliseum in particular was amazing. I really liked Coliseum as well. I mean, you probably can't even talk about this stuff, can you, Graysun? If there's anything you can't talk about, just say can't talk about it. We'll move on. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. But as far as like really general stuff, I can talk about it. But if I can, I'll let you know.
Sure.
Yeah. As far as like the blue lighting, personally, I remember when that first came out, I was like, absolutely not. I hated it. But I think it was like a little bit too much when it first came out, but I could see maybe later us experimenting a little bit more with it. There was a lot of positive feedback too with it. It was very split, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
There was like fog or something when it also dropped with the blue map. I think that was what really got me to hate it. It was so hard to see people. It was like blue and foggy.
Yeah,
take the color out of the game.
Constant haze in your vision. Just
yeah.
Here's a good question. You probably can't speak to some of it, but maybe you can to a little bit of it from Wenger Wow. What is the plan on splitting Wizard into Sork? First of all, it's not splitting Wizard into Sork. They're different things, okay? I never liked the idea of taking stuff from Wizard and putting it in a new class. Essentially, the question is, how will Wizard and Sorcerer be different? Will they feel a lot different? Will the Wizard still be viable with this new caster coming to the game? I know you probably can't. Obviously can't talk about the Sorcerer itself, but can you allude to anything?
I don't think SDF wants to introduce a class that's just going to completely make another one shadowed. So yeah, the
Totally.
goal is to make them. And I know when you hear wizard and sorcerer, to me, when they first came out, I was like, nah, I don't know how that's going to happen. And I didn't even play wizard at all during that period when it first was talked about. But now that I have a season of wizard, I can say that yeah, it'll probably be pretty different. The whole goal is to make it, not the same as wizard, or it's just a waste of development time anyway.
Will the wizard as a utility class, as everyone's calling it, will it still be viable? Why would someone not just pick the blaster class that can get kills quick? Why pick the utility? That's the question.
Because it doesn't have magic lock, bro.
Yeah, when we play sorcerer, we'll find out.
There you go. Yeah. We'll wait and see. Let's see here.
Oh,
but also, man, invisibility, dude. Invisibility can't be replaced. It's such a good skill.
It is amazing.
Someone asked earlier, like, some of the classes feel a little unfinished or like left behind. Do you think that you guys are ever going to be like revamping some of the OG classes, if you will?
Good question.
Yeah, like some of the older perks, and I think every once in a while we've been slowly revisiting some perks, but yeah, some of them are just so bad, and no one's ever used them. I think over time we'll keep poking at those perks and make them better. So yeah, and nothing is ever close to being finished right now, I would say.
Not all of them are useless. I mean, Soma uses Herbalist on the Druid.
Yeah, his favorite perk. Yeah, I love that perk. I don't play Druid anymore, to be honest. I went back to my old tried and true, the Barbarian. It's fun.
Oh, this guy's knocking Infernal Pledge in chat. Infernal Pledge is sick. I'm just saying. Yeah, let me defend that one real quick. Campfire Mastery, talk about useless. My God.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got, chat?
Good on paper, I guess.
This is a hilarious question from Waterloo Lost. Have the devs considered a hybrid class system? Combining Ranger and Wizard gives you Magic Archer. Well, this is pretty much multi-class stuff. So yes, the devs have thought about that, and it didn't go very well. We'll just put it that way. If you're new to the game, but I think I see what you're saying. It's almost like a mix between subclassing and multi-classing. But at that point, just pick one. Pick subclass outright as a system. Okay, let's see here. Oh, so someone earlier asked about like class traits. So, and just what your opinion is on it. So imagine a class trait is just an innate perk that every class always gets. So for Barbarian, by default, no matter what, even after you pick your 4 perks and your 2 abilities, you'd always have Crush as like a class trait. A Barbarian can always break down a door, no matter what, kind of a thing. Do you think a class trait, an always-on 5th perk, depending on your class, has room in the game? Do you think that'd be cool, or do you think it's busted?
Yeah, in fact, I think that would make the classes a lot better. I personally have already wanted that.
Yeah.
For example, the reason why I stopped playing Rogue is I felt like there was a lot of required perks to play it the way I wanted to,
yes.
But there's not enough perk slots to carry them all. So I felt super limited and boxed in. I think with class traits, that would make some things a lot better.
What do you think would be the class trait of the Rogue? Like, what if? So you said there was some things that you had to pick to make Rogue viable, and you were a big Rogue player for a long time. What would the class trait be that would give you a little bit more freedom to be choosier with your build as a Rogue?
Having to take a perk to move while stealth, to me,
not cool. It should be, if you're gonna take stealth, you should be able to move 10 steps with it. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Totally agree with you. What about for fighter? What would be the trait?
Shield mastery for sure, bro.
Yeah, I would say right now there's several fighter perks that just like they have no place. And a lot of the shield ones, there's like Shield Slam. Shield Slam, has anyone ever used Shield Slam?
No.
Yeah,
I think
You
Swift should be. I think fighters are used to wearing a bunch of different kinds of armor, plate, all kinds of different stuff. They should just move faster in armor. Swift should be the trait. Why not?
They got to add
Hell no.
desync protection on shields to combine it with.
Dude.
What strange magic is that, Sputicus?
Yeah, especially like I really, really like the longsword, and I think I spent like 2 weeks only going in with a longsword. But dude, it's so inconsistent. It drove me crazy. I was just like, no, I'm done with that.
Perfect block would be amazing to have just innately.
Mhm.
Like on a cooldown every 10 seconds, you get like a no knockback block. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Some people think weapon mastery innate. Fighter just gets to use whatever he wants whenever he wants. I think you got to take a perk for that.
Yeah, I think perk.
You got to lose a slot for that one.
Speaking of, what do you think about fighters with bows having full damage? Thoughts? That drives me nuts.
It's a little intense.
Yeah.
What about this? What about this as a trait for wizard? Every time you hit the G key to sit down, you just get meditate. That way you could choose to play 10 spell if you want, or you could actually take some of the other skills, like intense focus or something like that, and you could actually have some differentiating builds from other wizards. I think that'd be amazing. That'd be sick.
Yeah. So basically, what you were talking about right now, I already really wanted that, like at least a year ago by now at this point.
Yeah.
I think it would just take the classes to another level. Because right now everything feels really like, oh, I have to pick this or I have to pick this, and it really breaks creativity.
I agree.
Is SDF gonna add quivers to the ranger anytime soon?
Man, that's been a question since the ammo count came in like 2 years ago.
Dude,
Dude, I have a
no life ranger. I just went. I'm not touching the class until half my inventory can have loot in it once again.
I had a friend who loved Dark and Darker. He only played ranger. When they added arrows in the inventory and you actually had to have ammo, he quit the game. He never came back. He never played again.
Yeah, that was a big change.
He was like, "Fuck this, I'm done."
I think it was fine. Like the first edition, right? Is they just added an ammo count, but you didn't need arrows, right? So you just shoot. You had infinite arrows, but you had to reload after X amount of shots. I feel like that's fine. Because when's the last time you've even ran into someone who ran out of arrows? That's just not a thing in this game.
Yeah, most like for the actual skilled players or even average players, it's just punishing their inventory space more than anything.
Exactly right. Yeah, I agree.
And if there was other variants of arrows, like fire arrows, ice arrows, then I'd say, yeah, okay, I get it. And then they need to put a quiver system in. But right now, it really is just punishing inventory. Like you really have to be a spoon to like forget, like to have enough arrows. You know, what the system? I can only think the other like deficit is you are constantly going like quickly. I got to pick those back up. So it's taken a little bit of like some micromanagement in your time mid fights or after fights, you know, just picking up the trash, so to speak. So yeah, your inventory and then picking up the trash constantly, that's fine. Just please quivers. Just I'll go play ranger again when they got quivers.
Someone got very upset that I stepped on the fighter ranger range damage thing, by the way. If you wanted to answer that, sorry about that.
Yeah, I think that moves straight back to multi-classing. I don't really like that idea. Not that I just think for Dark and Darker is a really sensitive game and people get mad when they die in weird ways. So I think you have to be careful with stuff like that. But if it wasn't a full looter, all this stuff would be completely fine. But the fact that you spend several hours just to get a kit, and if you die to some cheese, people get really pissed.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens with class games. You run into your counter, you get insta-gib, and it's just like, fuck me.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Zuka Shark asks, what are the 2 gray boxes that are empty underneath the inventory for? The placeholder boxes, essentially.
Yeah. Probably for future slots and stuff. But honestly, I think that was just eventually it'll probably get used, but at first, I think it was just there was not much thought into it. To be honest, I don't know. That was a very, very early system. That's before I was even there.
Wasn't it? You talking about those two like indented spots in the inventory, right? I half
Yeah.
heard that because my audio cut out. Wasn't there going to be a weight system and like inventory, like a backpack system? I thought that's what that was for. Like, just not that I heard that, just that's what I thought it was for.
Uh-huh.
Probably that. It's probably
Um,
that. Something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, you got like
Fair.
a little satchel or something, and that's where you carry pocket fluff. I don't know.
You think we'll ever get post-match like damage reports and stuff like that?
Oh, I hope so. I really think we will eventually expand the post in like the post match screen, because right now it's pretty bland and you don't really see what you do. But there's a lot of
Yeah.
good games that have great ones that we can take an example from. So yeah, I think that's pretty easy, and when we have a lot of extra time, that can come in.
Wonderful. All right, let's see here. Will the game ever add more options for magic damage reduction? This is from Ohio. It seems now we can easily get PDR up to counter, physical damage, but it's very hard to get MDR very high up.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, even if you compare the game to a year ago, I think there's many more options now.
There is, yeah.
So I think it's slowly coming in. Yeah.
I've always made the cope that it's just because there's only so much magic damage where like most of the game is physical, right? So it makes sense to not have it everywhere.
Yeah, right.
I think with Sork, someone hit it like last week. I think with Sorcerer coming out, we're gonna see a lot more MDR. I wouldn't doubt it. To be honest.
Herbalief has a good question. It's actually a quality of life thing that I would also like to see. Is it possible that the devs would add in some sort of loadout feature where you can just click a button and it goes to a set of perks and skills that you've set that you want to quickly push to? Maybe like 3 different loadouts for whenever you want to play like your longsword bro fighter, or you want to go full tanky fighter to fight bosses, or you want to slap on your leather and go slay or something like that. I feel like that'd be amazing. I feel like the team in general is just working on quality of life stuff these days, yeah, to some degree.
Yeah. And I would say the only complicated thing about that is with Dark and Darker, all the, the item stats are random. So you could probably set up a purple longsword, but it would probably just take the one in your inventory, just a random one. I think that's as good as it would probably ever be. There's unless we completely rework all the stat system and everything is static, it's pretty limited.
Makes sense. Fair.
Here's a good question. What are some of the biggest challenges at Ironmace?
There's not enough hours in the day, for real. I really enjoy working at IRONMACE, but can you guys?
We're losing you a little bit.
I think you just muted.
No.
They're silencing him. They're shutting him down. He's not allowed to. Sorry.
Yeah, so I would say I really enjoy working at IRONMACE, but when I'm at work, it's not like, oh, I really want to go, something like that. It's more of like, damn, there's not enough hours in the day to do what I want to do here and what I want. So it's a really hard compromise of what I can do. And I would say as far as the IRONMACE staff, I'm like mid-tier as far as how much I work.
We're losing you a little bit
And
with your audio.
Okay, one sec. Let me swap over.
It's kind of like, just for your information, it's like, so what I feel on the snip. Yep.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, so yeah, I would say as far as the IRONMACE staff, I'm like mid-tier as far as how much I work compared to other people. And I don't think I have any hours in the day to do what I want. So I can't imagine some of the guys at IRONMACE that seriously work double what I do. Dude, it is insane. Like, I think we just need more hours in the day. That's the only thing that would fix our problem right now.
Why the
So
constant crunching? Why the constant go?
Well, I think we're really hyped to get Dark and Darker in as the best places possible, and it's just not there yet. So when people message me and say like, "Oh, you guys aren't doing anything, like everything's coming so slow," dude, I cannot relate. Sorry.
Plus, game development is tough. It takes
It's
time,
hard. Yeah.
and they're a live service where they truly release in an alpha state. It wasn't like a AAA game where they just labeled it as early access or some bullshit where they've been working on it for 4 or 5 years, and that's their cheat to getting around getting review bombed. Um, Essentially, you know, they're a live service. I'm just saying, like from the outsider, I'm not answering for him, but it's just like that's how I see it. Why they're always under the pump because you know, like the way SDF has led the game, from what I can see, and maybe Graysun can attest to it, is it's an evolving organism of a game. You know, like it's constantly evolving. It's not like, oh, we're going to develop this. We've got this is it, and we're going to develop to this point and then cut it. Like it's evolving. You know, like just look at playtest 1 to now, how different it is. So, yeah, that's how I see it from the outside. That's why I always find it funny when people say they're not really doing it. Like I don't know, like oh, like you know, uh, where's the content? But like for such a small team, you guys have actually got out a lot of stuff compared to some massive teams. It's pretty surprising.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Actually, I got a question for you. You've seen the change from play because you joined on playtest 4 to now. What's it like with the different size of team now? Because you've literally like tripled in team size, haven't you? Like you went from like 10 or 20 dudes to like literally nearly 100 now. I know not all of them are full time, but what's that like? What's the workflow like now? Are we going to see uh, a bit more of like, say, in a year's time? Well, say 6 months, 6 to 12 months, right? Should we see a lot more content flow? You know, like it'd feel a bit more like every 3 months it is substantial because some wipes have been a bit like, look, we've got this, but things will be bigger next time. You know?
Mm. Yeah, so yeah, actually, yeah, I was there before playtest 4, but yeah, I would say the team has more than tripled since I started. I started,
Yeah.
we were at the old office. It was pretty small. Now we're at a pretty big office and it's getting pretty full. I would say since we hired a lot of people so quick, there just needs more time for them to get into the flow, get, you know, in the right direction. But
We're losing you again,
You're
Grayson.
cutting out again.
Cutting out bad.
oh no, sorry, 1 second. How about now?
Say something.
Try again?
Can you guys hear me?
I gotta turn you up big time.
Okay.
Say something. Just count to 10.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah, that's much
7.
better.
There we go.
Perfect.
Cool.
That's great. Yeah, I would say since we have so many new people, it's just going to take a little bit of time for everyone to get on track, and so we can get in sync. I would say by next year, you know, we'll be probably pumping out stuff a lot more efficient than right now. But yeah, the team size has gotten huge, so that's good.
Yeah, it'll be like a full-on company, I imagine, if this many people are. Not that you weren't, but you know what I mean, like a well-oiled machine, if you will.
Well, it went from being in a gym to an office. That's a big change. You know?
Yeah.
All right, let's.
That's an impressive story. I can't wait to see the documentary one day, and you're like, you've got like this slick cut to you in a suit and tie, being like talked about how you know you went from just being a gamer to one of the senior managers or something like that. It's like talking about the OG days of IRONMACE.
I like the old place personally. I think it felt like pretty cozy and snug, and now it feels like kind of like a real office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with a couple more questions. It's already over 90 minutes, and I know you still have to go to work. Like you need to go to the office.
Can we see the cat one time?
Man, I have several. My house is like a zoo, but I don't know where they are. 1 second.
Yes.
The internet loves cats.
We gotta see that cat, bro.
Cats and keyboards. A lethal combo.
Only thing you're missing is boobs.
Yeah, these two are
Oh shit!
Very cute.
That's
What are your
Yeah,
cats' names?
yeah. I don't name my animals.
Wow.
That sounds crazy.
We got a
but
cool
man,
guy over here. Okay.
I
You
know.
don't
I'm a
name 'em.
zoo, dude. There's
They're
too
free-
many. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Wait, how many cats do you
I
have?
have. No, I only have 2 cats, but dude, I have like 15 pets.
Wait, what are your other
What?
pets?
Yeah.
You gotta run us down. What do you got?
So I have a ton of snakes.
A ton of
Before I worked
snakes.
at IRONMACE, I was doing snake breeding. Yeah.
What the
Damn.
fuck? Wow. Okay. What
Yeah.
what kind of snakes? Are they all the same or just different
Ball
species?
pythons.
All pythons?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Do they bite you a lot, or are they like chill?
So now that I handle like my cats all the time, dude, when I touch them, they look at my hand right away and go for it. But before that, no.
So is it like before the cats? Would you just like have them hang out and like slither on you and just like be playing with them and in your house? Like,
Yeah, they never. The only time I ever got bit was on stream. Dude, it was like
Huh.
4 a.m. I was literally mid Tarkov stream and I needed to feed one of my snakes and the lights were off in my room. And I was so used to it, I wasn't even thinking about it, but rats basically. So I put the rat in the box right away and so I opened the cage. I put the rat in and I wasn't even thinking about it, dude. The lights were off. And this was my biggest snake, dude. It's over 6 feet. It went straight for my hand, latched onto my hand. Dude, I was shaking. Yeah, it freaked me out because I'd never been bit before either. And I was like, oh my God.
Huh?
Finally, yeah.
Are they,
it
are they
let go.
venomous?
fuck that.
No.
Not a python. No,
No,
they're
okay.
pythons. They constrict, right? And constrict and swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, now with the cats, they go right for my hand. If I hold one, they start wrapping around right away.
Do your cats fuck
Okay.
with the snakes? Like get up to the cage and talk some shit?
Oh yeah,
like cat shit?
they have no idea that shit can kill them. Yeah, they play
if a
around.
snake-
So
If a snake got out, would it eat the cat? I'm
oh yeah,
curious.
it
Yes.
just
Yeah.
one shot my cats.
Oh my god, that shit is OP.
Oh yeah, those
Yeah.
cats would die real fast.
Well, they.
Damn.
Yeah.
If they, I mean, eventually the
Yeah, so-
cats would get tired and they'd catch them. That's how it works. The cats would evade for a while actually, but then you get tired and that's when they get you. Okay, so you have a bunch
Well,
of snakes.
The cats play around a lot, so I think they're really like, oh, we don't even know what these are. So I feel like if one did get out, they wouldn't really know what was going on, and just getting close enough for like a second would be enough, dude. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's always a concern I pay attention to.
If a snake form came for the druid, would you switch classes to druid?
Nah.
Not a true
Yeah,
snake.
no,
Not a true snake lover. Okay.
I'm yeah. And
He's
these
got a thing
days,
called
dude,
self-respect.
I don't even have
okay?
time to manage my snakes. I feel bad.
Oh. So you have snakes, cats. What else do you have? Is that it?
Yeah, just snakes and cats.
13 snakes and 2 cats.
Yeah, there was more
Wow.
snakes, but I'm trying to scale down.
What does your wife think about this hobby?
Yeah, well, dude, at first it was gonna be my main source of income, but when Iron Mace took the wheel, there's just way too much to do, so I can't even manage it. It's trying to kind of just they're just pets at this point. She
Wow.
doesn't mind.
Crazy. Wow. Cool. Fun fact, Graysun is a snake guy. That's cool.
I don't think I've ever touched a snake.
Let's see here.
You lie.
I think
Not once.
Do it daily. I've just been a dickhead.
Oh, okay.
well, Graysun, I'm going to be flying to Korea on Friday. I think I'm the first foreigner to be flown out to the Iron Mace office that works at the company. I'm super excited about it. Are we getting beers or what? We going to meet up, bro?
Definitely.
No
But
pressure.
this Friday, so like 2 days.
Yeah, I'm flying out Friday. Yeah, so I'll be meeting you and SDF and folks in the office for the first time Monday morning. I get in like Saturday evening or something like that. But I mean, I'm
Nice,
down. I'm down to
nice.
get dinner
Yeah,
Sunday
yeah.
or something like that. I would love to meet a bunch of people out of the office, get some food and drinks and all that stuff. But yeah, I haven't been to Korea since I was stationed there in 2000 and when I left in 2009. So I'm assuming a lot has changed in 15 years. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Do you know how to
it'll be
do the
totally
proper
different then.
like soju pouring where you gotta do it with 2 hands to your elders and stuff? And take the shots and you can't look at them? Is that real, by the way? That's gotta be real.
Oh yeah, Jay, you're half Korean. I always forget that.
Annyeong. Yeah.
Do you speak Korean fluently?
Understanding is, I would say, like 70%. All the meetings at IRONMACE are in Korean. If I have any issues, I'll ask Terry. Sometimes speaking is iffy, and I don't speak in the office at all. Because as far as like grammar, 0. Words and vocabulary, not bad, but as far as like making sentence, my grammar is literally non-existent.
Interesting.
And the problem with that is, dude, Korea has a very hierarchical language structure. So I feel really weird about speaking Korean in the office. If I say something, it could be taken completely different. So if I'm with friends, no problem. But in the office, not comfortable.
Yeah, dude. So
I know, like, I'm really close to everyone in the office too, but like, I don't personally feel comfortable.
I see. I got you. Well, I
Surely
know.
they understand some English though, like majority of the full Korean guys, right?
I would say 50% of our mates can understand some English. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Nice. So obviously it's very hot and humid in Seoul right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I dread walking to work.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say. So I'm just a naturally sweaty guy. I run hot. How horrific am I gonna look whenever I show up to the office Monday when it's 90 degrees outside, 90% humidity, and I'm just this wet white boy strolling in? Am I gonna get roasted? Do they understand that this Irish flesh is gonna melt, or am I gonna get roasted?
There's definitely some melters at IRONMACE.
Okay, good. I'm
I
not
would
alone.
say-
Okay, thank God. Okay.
And thank God, dude. It's like, it's hot, but like it's kind of cooling down. Like a month ago, when I would walk to the office, I'd feel like I needed to change clothes. It would be so gross.
How long is your walk?
Well, I walk to the subway station, which is about 15 minutes, and then my
Oof.
walk from the subway station is another 15 minutes to the office. So it's like 30 minutes.
Oh, you're wet then. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I'm literally walking across a park from my hotel. I will be as wet as you in your 30 minutes. I'm bringing a bag with a change of clothes. Fuck it. I was gonna ask.
You're
I was
disgusting,
actually, dude. I can't help it. It's a soup, and someone said steamed, not roasted. Dude, I'm gonna melt. But I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. But I'm gonna just be sweaty the whole time, and it's gonna be embarrassing. But I'll get over it. Dude, this was a very, very fun podcast. I think you have a lot of new fans, Graysun. You already had respect in the community, but you showing up today and having this conversation with us, and honestly, just how you approached answering questions, and a lot of your answers were just on point. And a lot of people are very sad that you're married, like I said, and a lot of people have a newfound respect for you. And people that already respected you have even more respect for you. So you obviously know what the hell you're talking about. You obviously are a company man for IRONMACE. You care about the game, and it shows. So good on you.
Yeah, you guys stop DMing me shit, for real.
What's that?
I get a lot of shit in DMs from you guys. You guys stop.
No, not
Eh?
us. Not us. You guys. Chat. You
Not
guys.
from chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be
That's
nice.
my-
That's gamers being gamers. You just ignore them.
Yeah. Be nice to Graysun.
Yeah.
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 I make a
Give
lot
us
of
one, bro.
yeah.
Are they just talking shit and they're just like complaining? Is that how it
Oh
goes?
yeah, dude.
Oh.
I'm gonna show you guys something.
Okay.
So this is kind of like a blessing and a curse, but Discord no longer works on my phone. So
That is a blessing.
So I only look at Discord when I'm on a PC. And usually I'm too busy on the PC to really look at Discord. But yeah, dude, when I click my Discord, dude, it just loads and loads and loads. When it finally
Oh.
goes to a message, I'll click something and it just freezes the whole time. It's just completely. My
This is
desktop
what
is
you did
ruined.
to him, chat. Look what you did to
Yeah,
him.
it's totally ruined.
Honestly,
I regret
so
using
many
my real
chains,
account.
dude, so many chains and shackles were thrown on you that it actually freed you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Opposite effect. Wow. Anyway, dude, I'm sure I speak for the entire community when I say the community would like to see a lot more of you and to hear from you more. You're good at your job, and you've done a really, really great job thus far, and we're looking forward to seeing how you continue on at IRONMACE. Boys, any final thoughts or questions for Mr. Graysun?
Just to cap off what he said there, like especially like community managers, because I've known a bunch from other game companies, say like Bethesda, get on with them. Essentially, it can you're doing a good job, because it can be a bit of a thankless job at times, in the sense that especially when you're like a community manager of sorts, you're like a representative. Most of the time when people go to you, it's because they have grievances, and the people that are having a good time silently appreciate your work because they're just deep in the game having a good time, you know? So I think, speaking on my behalf, I appreciate all the times you've helped me out with the issues I've had on the OCE server in the past. And you've been a really good, force at IronMace, I think, for the game. A good proponent of pushing the thing forward. So you have my thanks.
Yes.
Jay, take it away.
I'm not good on the spot. I like that you're on the podcast, kind of like the homie, Weren't like some super professional business guy. It's nice. Nice to just vibe out.
Thanks. I will say, to get back to Spud real quick, though, dude, all your OS problems we have on Soul too. So like, I can directly relate. If it's going on OS, it's definitely going on where we're playing too.
Well,
So like,
that's why I knew why you guys would be
yeah,
definitely aware of it and dealing with it, because I've noticed a difference with like European game developers and Americans. They're like, yeah, what about it? Like, it's just like,
yeah. So like, I totally. People are like, "Oh, you guys have no idea what's going." No, dude, we're literally playing. Like, I feel exactly. I'm getting teamed on by a lot of people too, and stuff like that. So like, I know exactly what you're talking about. We feel that in the game. Like, we definitely want to get it fixed. So we're working on it.
Yeah. No,
it's much better these days.
Yeah, Spud is right. The community manager job is thankless. It is an unsung hero sort of a thing. The dark horse that keeps things afloat. I remember being Twitch's community manager, and I almost quit. Like it was a dream job to get a job at Twitch, and I didn't have a college degree. I was just a streamer. I Forrest Gumped my way into that shit. 4 months in of being the community manager, I was this close to just saying, this is not worth it. It was fucking intense. People are crazy.
Are you just getting hounded the whole time?
Just
Sounds
DMs and messages, and you're the whipping boy. People blame if a dev or an engineer changes one thing, it's your fault because you're the face, right? It sucked, and I can only imagine, Graysun, what it's like when it's not just a video platform, but ferocious ass gamers attached to a game they really, really love and that they really enjoy. I can only
loot.
Yeah, and a full loot game at that. Yeah, I can only imagine the kind of messages and harassment you get. So if anyone is going to message you, I hope it's just a good job and a thanks. And
and you know what? At least I can appreciate that we have people that even want to message us.
That's
They
true.
care enough about the game to even send a shitty message.
Yeah.
So like, at the end of the day, like that's cool too. Like, we understand that people were like, oh, they really care about the game. They just died to some bullshit. Like, they're mad.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate that. And we understand that kind of stuff too.
It's when the community's quiet, you have a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I can say myself, I have never even thought to message like a game company employee until I played this game. Like, it's not even a thought.
Yeah, we get a lot of shit for not communicating, but I don't know any other company that will reply to their DMs. I used to reply to every DM.
Oof.
SDF used to reply to every DM. Like, these days, especially like during crunch periods, dude, like, it's not that I don't want to. It's more like I don't even have time to drink water. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I don't have time for Discord DMs right now, but when I do, I will. So we really try to communicate pretty directly, and I don't think many companies do that.
No, it's good that there's such a passionate player base, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you manage it. My doorbell's ringing. 1 second. You guys talk for a second. Shit.
Yeah, no problem.
He's gone. Shit, I'm out of questions.
Yeah, I got one for you.
Questions, I think.
To humanize you a bit more with the community, Graysun. Jay won't be able to join in this one because it's an alien concept to him. But your favorite films? What's your favorite movies, man? I'm a bit of a movie nerd.
I love war stuff, dude. I'm super into that. I'm super into like the military and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I would
So what? Like your Saving Private Ryan's, Hamburger Hill.
yeah, dude.
All right. Sorry about
I
that.
watched Saving Private Ryan a week ago, dude. Yeah, I think Black Hawk Down is a really good movie.
Mm.
Fucking
That's
classic
really
movie,
intense.
yeah.
The soundtrack's pretty pumping towards the end too.
I walked away for 20 seconds and I came back to war movies and Black Hawk Down. Love that. Hell yeah. Guys, this is a good one. Thanks again, Graysun, for joining us. Where can people find you on the internet machine, if you even want to be found?
You can find me on Discord on Graysun Dark and Darker. That's all I want to share.
I get that. I respect that. How about you, Mr. Griffia?
Jay Griffey on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube.
Beautiful. Sputicus?
The Spud Hunter, Twitch, YouTube, OnlyFans, etc.
Beautiful. I am at Soma on everything except for YouTube, at _Soma. It's where you can watch this podcast and my 5th edition D&D stuff I do with my buddies. But beyond that, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. Next week, obviously, I'm out of town. I'm going to be in Korea, like I mentioned. But we will be back on September 17th with One Peg. And then we're going to be disappearing again for another couple of weeks for travel for Tokyo Game Show and TwitchCon. So sorry about that. But that being said, have a great rest of your week. And we will see you guys for the One Peg episode, which is episode 72 on the 17th. Until then, enjoy the dungeons, enjoy the wipe in 3 days, and we'll see you around.
Yeah, white pipe, hold the line, guys.
Hold the line.
Hold the land.
Hold the line. Goodbye.